again, everyone, and welcome to Azerbaijan for round 2 of the Formula Virtual Racing Academy. I'm Jake Scarborough, and I'm going to be your commentator for what is set up to be quite an interesting qualifying session, as well as the race. As you can see, wet conditions, everyone on the intermediate tire. First car out on track, that is Nick Debris, the Dutch driver, reserving in the Haas today. So it will be interesting to see what happens. So he'll be the first car to set a proper lap. So we go through the entire field, only 13 cars here in the Baku City circuit. So it's going to be interesting to see what we have on our hands today. Obviously more cars heading out onto the track. We've got a yellow in the final sector. Not sure what that's about. It looked like the Aston Martin has looped it at some point or gotten into the wall and somewhere in turns 18 and 19. Weird. Fast yet technical corner here. Probably one of the more sketchy corners on the track, minus Castle Corner, aka like a turn 9 through 11. But nonetheless, we have a session to keep an eye on here. We go through the castle section of the track, going up through turn 12. McLaren out of the session. That is the Williams, I believe. That's not what you want to see. Oh no, that is an Alpine. That is Liam van der Velden. That is out of the session already. But purple in sector 2, obviously, for Rick Debris, obviously as the first car to set a lap of session. Let's see, where does the Haas driver go? Going down the long front straightaway through the DRS. No DRS due to the rainy conditions, but setting a 153.499. Let's see, and to second is Habib McCook with a 154.565, which gets moved to third because here come all the laps. As you see, Seb Mills goes to second with a 154.293. Jackson Turner, who's slowest so far in the session, with a 155.075. See, we got a McLaren coming down the pit straight. Let's see what they're capable of doing. That is Lewis McWilliam going fastest with a 152.951. The next car that will be crossing the line will be, that is Tyler Dean Davison, who is still on an outlap. So likely obviously no actual lap time will be put up due to that. Scott Sandover, however, is the next car to set a time, so let's see what he can set. A little wobbly out of the corner. In turn 16. Strange about the circuit, 20 corners. Although it doesn't look like 20 corners, it is indeed because of that. Because of all the little minor kinks along the track. Slowest lap time put up so far this session with a 157.165 for Scott Sandover. Not what you'd want to see. Let's see, though, if the Haas is setting another lap. Will not. Sending it down the pit area. Seb Mills, will he be doing the same? It looks like it, with the way he had a lift. We've got a... oh. Well, that's not ideal either. Lewis McWilliam, as well as the Aston Martin of... oh, I gotta confirm. Dean Granger, both have an incident up in the upper section of 13, 14. It's not ideal. It's how you see Lewis McWilliam around again. So obviously there's overheated tires on the McLaren. What we'll be seeing here, that Tyler Dean Davison. A little slow onto the power out of the corner. And locking it down for the pitch straight. Not sure if this will be a rain race or not, but obviously we will find out momentarily. Tyler Dean Davison to 6th, the 156.409. So maybe as the session winds down a little bit more, we'll start to find out who has the speed to knock off Lewis McWilliam. As you can see the McLaren driver very slow down that straight. Not sure if he's got a puncture or something. You see how loose that McLaren is. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what the issue with this car is, but there's got to be something. In the meantime, we'll go on board with... Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Lewis McWilliam into the wall. Losing the front wing, so... Yeah, this is just not the ideal session, aside from being top of the board. Obviously, there's a lot of issues with the car, so... We'll see what happens there. However, Brennan White is on his outlap, so we'll go on board with him for his actual flying lap. Let's see, lets Tyler Dean Davison go. Not sure if he's setting another lap or not. I guess we'll find out momentarily. Either way, a little sideways out of the corner for Brennan White. Here's where you start picking up the speed. On board with the Red Bull driver. Yes, Tyler Dean Davison did set another lap going to 5th, 1.5.041. Brennan White just a little snap out of turn 1. Those snaps can cost so much time. Luckily, the car control there to bit up below. And the lockup right there. Yikes. See, he got onto that outside curb, so there's probably some small little puddles and slick spots forming along the curbs and just outside the racing line. So you barely get out of that, you slide on there, especially locking the brakes. It's not going to be what you want, but obviously Brennan White needs to set a time. He goes purple in sector 1. That is surprising, especially with the lockup. And there's the lap invalidated. Not what you want to see. We have Vesico Badi down the pitch straight to start their flying lap. Mercedes driver came oh so close for the win last week. Let's see if he can get today's win. Obviously, if you didn't join us for last week's race in Spain, we saw Lewis McWilliam, the reserve for McLaren, who is on top of the boards right now, take home the win with Vesico Badi in the Mercedes finishing second and Brendan White finishing third on the bottom step of the podium. Purple in Sector 1 for Vesico Badi, as he's looking to set quite a flyer, so let's see what he can do. Standings after Spain, however, Leo Vincendel still leads points over Brendan White by only a points margin of 3. A small margin to make up, but could come out of today's race with the points leader. It is possible, obviously, with 3 points paying positions, or 3 non-points paying positions, where anyone can go. In the meantime, for constructors, you see McLaren with a massive lead with 75 points total. There's the invalidation from Vescobati. But 75 points total from McLaren to Red Bull, who sits in second with 28 points. Not what you want to see, ideally, if you're anyone in constructors that isn't McLaren. And that... I never even noticed the Aston Martin, but we're just gonna ignore that. Well, Vescobati is going to go for another flying lap, so we'll pay attention to everyone else. And there's a McLaren in the runoff. That is Lewis McWilliam. I'm not too sure what's going on. Got some set mills for going back and forth with her. So I'm not sure if that's about it. Just trying to get a slipstream on the other. Hits, or they're about to start another flyer. Going for a flying lap. And locks it up, it looked like, or just missed the braking point. So we'll miss turn 1, but Lewis McWilliam gonna send it down into turn 1 anyway. Obviously trying to go quicker than the time he has up by almost 5/10 gap over a second. So I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do. I'm sure we'll find out that will come in handy later on. And that is the Mercedes driver, Liam Heisman, is out of the session. So lots of cars not being able to finish today's qualifying session. And Lewis McWilliam misses the braking point, having to throw it in the runoff, so just another lap gone to waste. And in the meantime, Vescobati sets a 1:51.395. Very quick time set for the Mercedes driver. That's what happens when you don't have commentators curse, I guess. So now the pressure's on for Lewis McWilliam to get the lap he needs and not have another error. So time will tell with what the McLaren reserve has in store. That is Scott Silver in... Oh yeah, he's setting a yellow sector, I'm not sure. That was for... It looks like, yeah, just backing up. Either to enter the pits or to set up for a flying lap. Behind him, that is Brendan White, who is about to start another flyer, as you can see. Sending it through the I guess, kink in what would be a long straight. So yeah, it looks like Scott Sandover is just going to bring it down into the paddock. Brendan White starting his flying lap. Body's giving Seb Mills? Yeah, Seb Mills some slipstream, even though it doesn't mean much because it is Seb's out lap. He's starting that flying lap, sitting 4th. provisions. Lewis McWilliam will catch on here to see what he's capable of through the rest of sector 2 to 3. So a little backing up, I'm not sure, I believe that is, yeah, Tyler Davidson and Jackson Turner just up ahead of him, one of them being his teammate. See that pile orange sitting off to the left, letting go purple through sector 2. Let's see, will it be the full time that completes? Only 30 seconds left in the session. This is it. Unless you can get one more lap and kind of guard yourself. So this will likely be his last run. Obviously, Azerbaijan can set another lap. So we'll see. Does Lewis McWilliam go to the top of the boards? He does with a 151.185. Just a little over 2/10 quicker than the competition. As you see, Tyler Dean Davison not too far behind, starting his flying lap, but we'll keep an eye on Brennan White, who comes down the pitch straight and will cross the line to finally put a time up on the board, moving to 9th with a 1:56.52. And obviously Seb Mills. Oh, Seb Mills goes purple in sector 2. Here we go. This could get interesting. Through 18 and 19. And through the kink that makes up turn 20. Down the pitch straight. Where will Seb Mills go on the board? This is gonna be an interesting fight. Is it enough? Seb Mills goes up to 3rd with a 151.459. Just a few tenths off that pole time. A great lap nonetheless. Rick Debris here in the Haas, the reserve, without a front wing, so I don't think you're getting a lap out of that. Jackson Turner not too far behind, who goes purple in sector 2. Okay, Jackson Turner will send it through these corners. These guys are starting to push a little too much, it seems. Oh, that Haas right there. That may have been some sort of impeding. It looks like the track has dried up a bit, or at least stopped raining. So that's big for these drivers. And Jackson Turner to the top by an entire second. A 150.120. The drier track surfaces obviously playing in the favor right there. And that is a qualifying session that had an unexpected turn of events. Jackson Turner to the top with a 150.120. Wow. Just narrowly beating Lewis McWilliams' lap time. Then row 2, obviously, will have Avesta Gobati and Seb Mills, Tyler Dean Davison, and Rick Debris in the following row. Not too far behind them in the row 4, it's Habib McCook and Scott Sandover. And for the last row of the points-paying positions is Brennan White and Liam Heisman. Then Leroy Van Schendel and, jeez, I keep forgetting names. Oh no, that isn't good. Nonetheless, in a very, very surprising qualifying session at hand. So we'll see you momentarily for the formation lap and the race here in Azerbaijan. doing that. We already have a car on the wall. That is, that is the Alpine driver, Liam Vanderbilt. I was under the impression we had a formation lap. Obviously not, as chaos ensues. That is a Aston Martin in the runoff? No, that was... Oh no, that was the points leader. Leader of Vincendo is in the runoff, now sitting last. Alfa Romeo in the back now. Multiple drivers without front wings. Lewis McWilliam made quick time to get back up to the top spot. Obviously, you see at the bottom of the screen the predicted pit strategy for Lewis McWilliam, or at least anyone starting on the medium or soft compound. Lots of carnage breaking out already. Apologies for not getting the lights going out. Following Lewis McWilliam is Vesico Paddy and Jackson Turner. So the top 3 spots right now, but Rick Debris is trying to get around the Ferrari driver as fast as possible, or the Ferrari reserve, should I say. Putting the pressure on the 3rd place driver. Obviously, Tyler Dean Davison not too far behind, and that is a car out of the session. Oh no, that is Liam Vandervelden, and we've got a virtual safety car on lap 1 for the Azerbaijan 3. So let's see, does anyone take advantage of this? Try to send it into the pits, maybe get something to work to the end? Looks like none of them are going to attempt to do so. Never mind, I take that back. I'm not sure who this is. Their name isn't on the sheet. Once again, another name that is not on the sheet. And the Red Bull double stack obviously does no damage. So, not ideal for Red Bull, but the amount of cars in the pits. That is 8th on back. So, not a fun day. Not a fun start, but obviously a dry start. So that's probably what a lot of these drivers wanted. As we go back green all around the circuit, Lewis McWilliam still leading, obviously, with 7/10 over Vesico Paddy, so it will probably come down to these 2 guys again unless someone has a strategy that can beat them, but these 2 are on the medium tires. I believe Jackson Turner, yeah, Jackson Turner's on the hards. So, obviously a flipped strategy for the top 3. See what they can make of it. We'll keep an eye on the tires right now. As you can see, Jackson Turner, the only guy in the top 5 on the hards. So it's an interesting call. Obviously, everyone who just put on the hards, minus 2 of them who put on the soft compound. So odd move, obviously. But strategy calls that are going to play into this one. Lewis McWilliam goes fastest. No, it's going to be Rick Debris, setting a 149.557 on the medium set from 4th place. Still trying to get around Jackson Turner, however. He'll have the DRS down the 2nd straight. Obviously, the 2nd DRS zone. That is Brennan White around in, I believe that is turn 15. Not sure what happened back there, but the Haas driver does get to the bottom step of the podium around Jackson Turner quickly, so medium tires obviously showing their pace as they are sitting 1, 2, 3. Not much you can expect from a track where your only real passing opportunities are sending it into these corners or down DRS straights. So it's just going to be follow the leader for the most part. Like, sometimes it does get exciting. Follow the leader, as you saw in the start. Chaos ensued. Powering the McLaren through sector 2. Lewis McWilliam going to fly around these corners, losing a little bit of time to Vesico Paddy behind, and that is an Aston Martin with a problem in sector 1. Not sure what's going on back there. But obviously gets back going. Dean Granger, no problem. Just powering away, but not too much. Going fastest, but now Vestigobati goes fastest with a 143.654. As the top two break away from the following cars, being Rick Debris and Jackson Turner, and it looks like a little bit of DRS chicken. Right there, you saw Rick Debris give the position up, probably so he could get the DRS on Jackson Turner down the straight, doing anything he can to just catch that top two, but it looked like they were almost side by side into turn 3. Vestigobati putting the pressure all over the McLaren, all over the gearbox. Talk about nose-to-tail racing. Amazing shot through the corner. Oh, no. That is Dean Granger out of the session, and that is a safety car because the leaders are coming up on it. Turn 15, claiming its first victim of the day. And Brendan White's also out of the session. Oh no, that's turn two. That's in turn 2. Oh no! Oh wow, the Aston Martin right there. Yeah, that is a great call for a safety car. You hate to see that for those two drivers, but now obviously one non-points position, or one non-points paying position left for these drivers to try and stay out of. So right now Seb Mills fills that spot, but obviously with the safety car it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Vestigobati stays out, but Lewis McWilliam goes in. Jackson Turner stays out obviously on the hard compound, but Rick Debris staying out, or goes in, my apologies, and McLaren double stack. Tyler Dean Davison goes in. Let's see, Scott Sandiver stays out. We're about to find out what Habib McCook does. We're pursuing the cars behind. These guys will probably stay out because they are on the hard compounds. No? Okay. We've got a pitting Williams. Oh, and Leroy Vincendal's out of the race. What is happening? What? I'm so confused. That is not ideal at all. Well, that changes a lot in the point standings because now Leroy Vincendal is out of this race after having a 3-point gap with Brendan White. But Brendan White's also out. So third place being a Vestigobati if... Oh my. Vestigobati could be walking out of Azerbaijan with the points lead. I was talking about this during qualifying. Would we see a new points leader coming out of this race? Obviously that 3-point gap between Leroy Vincendal and Brendan White, I would have automatically assumed it would have been Brendan White if something happened. But obviously that is not the case because now the race leader is going to be walking out with the points lead if everything stays the way it is right now. So obviously that is a huge impact on the run for the championship. So Vestigobati being on that alternate strategy right here. We'll go look at all the tires you see. Only one on the same set you started on. What do you do with that? Obviously, Habib McCook and Seb Mills on a fresh set of mediums. Or the start of the race, so I'm just going back to it. I'm not quite sure. I mean, are you gambling that Are you gambling the fact that you have to pit, and so does everyone else? And jeez, killing the gearbox. Investigavati, that is, I'm not sure what that's about. Sure if the safety car will be going in this time. Obviously, being Hook is yet to catch up to the remainder of the pack, but is this something you want to see if you're a Vestigo battle? More laps going away due to the safety car. I'm not sure if that's something you want to see or something you want to avoid. So, it'd be interesting, obviously, to see what strategy call follows this. Do you try making the mediums last so where you can go on softs? Are you planning on everyone on the hards to go on the softs? It's a wild card, basically. But safety car will more than likely go back into the pit this time by. Not a very ideal safety car is indeed in this time. So we will be back to full course green. Obviously, Azerbaijan going to back up the field as much as possible to get as good of a jump as possible. Obviously, that's a hard track to do so without back the field to the long front straight. So you can see the safety car has entered the pits, so Azerbaijan can go at any point in time now. Send it back, and there you see up through the gears, getting ready. Here we go, sideways. The anticipation is real for this restart, just trying to toy with everyone following. A couple cars almost side by side. Swerving, and there you go, there's the jump. You want to see Azerbaijan sending us back green. across the finish line. Here we go. You saw Lewis McWilliam try to look for a gap around Jackson Turner, so it's odd to see he didn't make a move. And now McLaren's broken in, but look at that, Scott Sandover's going to get back to fourth. Some daring moves made already. This is your point in time to put yourself back in this race. If you were messed up before, then obviously a lot of cars swerving. Not sure if that's looking for room, but that is Liam Heisman into the back of the McLaren driver of Tyler Dean Davison. Not sure if that's damage or possibly a slow puncture. That is not ideal. Seb Mills around, and no! Yes, that is Seb Mills around. He takes Rick. Oh no. He takes Rick Debris with him. This is not a good day for Alfa Romeo. And as we go back up through the field, you see Lewis McWilliam is losing so much time to Avestico Patty, who is on that medium compound compared to him on the fresh hards. Jackson Turner's on the same hards he started the race on, and he's losing so much valuable time. I'm not sure if this is going to upset Lewis McWilliam at all. Obviously different conditions than qualifying, so I'm sure that threw off a lot of guys who got used to that wet track. Okay, now, let's see, Jackson Turner files in behind Lewis McWilliam. No move to be made here, and is this where Lewis pulls away from the Ferrari? Obviously, two reserve drivers, so they're not even in the championship fight. It's just all for bragging rights for them. Liam Heisman is trying to fight the AlphaTauri driver. A little bit of contact with Sandover. Heisman, Sandover. These two wheel to wheel almost, and he gets in front of the AlphaTauri and will complete the pass to go up to fourth. Obviously, Tyler Dean Davison right behind him, but that whole reserve team. Oh boy. He's still pulling away ever so slightly. So obviously the mediums still have a little bit of speed to keep them going. Obviously Jackson Turner losing some time to McWilliam. Now over a second back. So will be out of the DRS when that is activated again for drivers to use. So the speed difference is shown, and as you see, McWilliam is closing ever so slightly on Gobati. So this is where it throws a wrench in Gobati's strategy. Should he have pit under the caution? And oh, Tyler Dean Davison and TMD both out of the race, and that is the safety car. Full course safety car. And Avestico Patty's going to beat the safety car. This is the strategy now. This is surely where you have to put on the hards. Oh no, and looking in the chat, oh my, Evan Dalton, I believe, gave the curse to Tyler Dean Davison. Oh no. Now only 8 drivers remain in this race. Talk about not ideal from any circumstance. Okay, so that was... Okay, so TMW, that is male pair. So I was unaware of that after looking back. So being in the Red Bull, that is what done. That is what threw the confusion at me. Vesico Batti entering the pits will still come out in second, so right behind Lewis McWilliam on 6 lap fresher tires. So sure, you can say 6 laps isn't a difference, but it surely is. And that's also something you don't want to do. Will Jackson Turner get around? No, he won't. That is a turn of events that could have gone very sour. I don't think any of them will be up to the safety car this lap, so we'll probably be going back racing next time around. Some soft contact choices in the field. That is 7 mils and debris for session. But Rick Debris, 7 mils on the soft compound. A lot of these guys back on the medium compound in the meantime. So could the mediums make 16 laps? I'm not quite sure. But it's an interesting strategy call. Stream chat anymore. It's, oh wow. Oh, there is some bold comments being made in the chat. Obviously, this is where the fun comes in during the safety car, and there's nothing going on. Liam Heisman is on the softs now, pitting. Not sure why. Oh, it was a wing change, so that'll surely do it. Change in strategy that probably wasn't ideal. Because yeah, there's an all-out war in chat. This is fun to see. So, meanwhile, as you have a war in the live stream comments, you have what could be a war out on track. Lewis McWilliam, Vesico Batti on the fresher cards compared to the McLaren drivers. But everyone behind on mediums or softs, obviously the soft drivers have to pit again. They have to change tires. But as for the mediums, it's hard to say if they'll have to pit again. So we will see as the safety car crosses the sector line. We should get a notification from race control. There it is. The safety car is in this time. Now it's up to Lewis McWilliam to get a jump over the field, especially the same 1-2 from last week's Grand Prix in Barcelona. weaving across the track, everyone following, and there's the jump, there's the green. As a 5 to 6/10 jump over second place. You see Jackson Turner trying to be aggressive to get around that Mercedes. Not ideal, the blocking before the apex. Oh boy, we've got a fight on our hands behind Lewis McWilliam, and obviously this is something you want to see if you're the McLaren. You want to see the guy that's been at your back door this entire time to have to fight for what he's gotten. It looked like the McLaren got into the wall a little bit. It's going to be Jackson Turner on the outside trying to make an outside move work with Escobar. He's going to make it work, get around him for P2. Obviously the mediums still have that pace advantage. And Jackson Turner's are a bit more worn. A few laps on them, not sure all that's from the safety car. And multiple cars around, that is a traffic jam and a half. 4 cars. Came to a complete stop right there. That is Seb Mills and Habib McCook that get the worst end of it. Obviously, Rick Debris and Liam Heisman get involved in that as well. However, this is a 4-car battle for what could be the win. Lewis McWilliam pulling away, trying to, at least over Jackson Turner. It's kind of hard to do that when there is the pace advantage from the mediums to the hards. And in the meantime, Liam Heisman gets a 3-second time penalty. There's that gap closing from Jackson Turner to Lewis McWilliam. Let's see if he can make a move down into turn 1. He peeked for it, nothing there. Down into turn 2, still nothing there, sending it just a little too much. Maybe the slipstream down this straight can get Jackson Turner around him. It's going to be the battle of the ERS usage, more than likely. There's no move to make for Turner. Slowly falling out of that pack, so I'm not sure if there's damage to the AlphaTauri driver, if he's just sitting back watching these top 3 fight and trying to stay away from it. Nevertheless, this is an amazing battle. These cars separated. They're under a blanket. All 3 of them are under a blanket, so any of them can make a move at any given time. Activated, I believe, in Mexico, right? Four tenths back from the McLaren. Turner making, I believe this is his first start this season as a reserve. 4 tenths back, now closing in even more, 3 tenths. Where's the move now? No DRS, obviously. But the move is there to the outside, DRS enabled. Is he going to try making an outside move again? This time on the race leader, Liam Heisman goes fastest with 143.457. Now down into turn number 2. Turner still to the outside, trying to get something to work, but he'll have the DRS this time. He's got to pull Escobar with him down the straight. Let's see, he's going to the inside. Escobar follow. Side by side, a little wide. McLaren. Exactly. Oh, in contact! Escobar gets around! The McLaren driver sent it in a little too deep and almost put Turner in the wall, and Escobar making the proper move to get around all that, and it looks like Turner kind of hit the McLaren driver, but now this puts Liam Heisman and Scott Sandover back in the fight. Wow! And that's how you get back to the lead by 2.6 seconds. That is surely there's going to be some post-race controversy between the Ferrari and McLaren driver. I'm not sure if that was a lockup, if that was intentional, but I'm not sure what happened with Jackson Turner. It looks like he also hit the McLaren driver in the following corner. It'll be tough to say, obviously, with the speed advantage the mediums have on the hards. Jackson Turner could close that gap again, but it looks like this could be gone. And there's Liam Heisman getting a 5-second penalty after entering the pits and retiring from the session in the garage and leaving. Mercedes has an interesting little race ahead of them. Gap down to 2.4. Obviously not really doing much there, but we'll see what happens for Sector 2 with all the corners that the pace advantage is there for. Turner closing a 10th through there. It's going to take everything Turner has to catch back up. And Beamer Cook setting a 142.732 going fastest on the soft Interesting to say. Meanwhile, in the chat, 25% of the people that voted said Avestigo Batty's going to win. 50% said Lewis McWilliam, and it keeps changing. Yeah, 40% say Avestigo Batty, 40% say Lewis McWilliam, 20% say Jackson Turner. So obviously, the up in the air about who will win here in Azerbaijan, coming to 10 laps remaining here in the Baku city circuit, the city skyline, the city skylines. As you can see, the city in the background, beautiful. Beautiful. It looks like Avestigo Batty's just pulling away. It looks like that pace advantage that the mediums had is slowly falling even with Mercedes' hard tires. Lewis McWilliam doesn't look to have the pace, possibly even damage from all the collisions with Jackson Turner in a sequence of corners. So this could be the Mercedes driver's race to lose. Will be taking the points lead if everything stays the way it is. From third to first in the standings, that is a huge, huge jump. Oh, and then there's a car around. There's the Haas, Brick Debris. Around, not sure what happened to him, but obviously still in 5th place due to the 2 drivers behind him getting caught up in an incident. Looks like Seb Mills is going to go to the finish on those hard tires. Assuming that Beamer Cook is going to have to pit again for another set, because I don't think those softs are lasting that long. Rick Debris obviously going to have to do the same thing on the softs. But it's still in question, what are the medium drivers going to have to do? Are they going to have to pit again for a new set? Are they good to the end? That's the biggest question at hand right now. We can even possibly see Lewis McWilliam having to just dive in. Avestigo Batty still pulling away from Jackson Turner. A massive gap in between positions. 3-second lead over Jackson Turner. Turner having a 3.5 second gap over Lewis McWilliam. Then McWilliam having a 6.5 second gap over Sandover. And yep, there you see the Haas driver pitting for the already used, worn out mediums, but they'll obviously pave the way. That is hope. Has Seth Mills right behind him, 1.3 read back. I'm not sure if the pace advantage is going to be there for the mediums, but obviously the Alfa Romeo is prepared to strike if indeed. Obviously, Avestigobati probably just trying to ease his way around the track right now and not trying to overuse anything he has, kill the tires, kill the ERS. Nothing unnecessary to lead this race with the points lead and the win. Still 2.5 back. It closes the gap in some areas, but just loses that time again. But I don't think there is a battle to be had for the race lead. And there you see, yep, Lewis McWilliam going into the pits, putting on the soft compound. He's planning on going 7 laps on these soft compound tires. Not sure what that's for. I don't know if that's a reserve driver just saying, you know what, I'm not battling for the championship, even though it's race 3. But regardless, a reserve driver is battling for the championship. It's all for bragging rights. Okay, same thing with Jackson Turner. Just obviously want to go for the win, but if the option isn't there anymore, then what else do you do? That's gone with. But battle on our hands for 5th place, and that is Rick Debris and Seb Mills. And, oh, Seb Mills puts it in the wall, and that's car out of the session. Is that going to be a safety car? There it is, the safety car with 6 cars remaining in the race. A huge game changer. That is probably what Lewis McWilliam wasn't planning for. Wow, okay, a turn of events in the late stages of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So we'll probably be going around for 2 laps under the delta behind the safety car. So not quite sure what these guys have in store 3rd on up. But we'll see if Avestigobati sends it in. I'm assuming everyone's going to put on the softs. And there it is, the Mercedes driver putting on the soft tires. Let's see what Jackson Turner does. No wing repair, obviously, so no damage to the Ferrari, but he's also putting on the soft compound. Scott Sandover so far back, but just now getting into the pit entry. He's going to dive in to go from the mediums, more than likely to the soft compound as well. Let's see what Lewis McWilliam does. He's going to send it in as well, probably get a fresh set of softs. Try something else, let's see. Probably just a fresh set, so he's dead even with everyone else. That's probably the way to go about this. And, oh, replace some wing damage. Okay, so that's probably the main cause, because he wasn't going to gain anything if he stayed out. Maybe go to 3rd. Rick Debris going in for his set of softs. I'm not sure if Habib Cook has another set of softs, but we'll find out momentarily, shall we see? Driver, yep, replacing that front wing and putting on a fresh set of softs. So luckily everyone has a fresh set, so we may be seeing a great battle for the win. So hopefully it doesn't end in controversy, because that's the last thing you want to see. And a change in the poll that happened in the chat. 50% say Avestigobati's going to win, 33% say Lewis McWilliam, 17% say Jackson Turner. Now obviously, after that safety car, this puts Scott Sandover with Debris and Habib McCook back in the fight. Obviously, Habib McCook, Lewis McWilliam, Rick Debris, they're going to have to use up a bit of their tires to catch back up to the safety car in a timely manner. The safety car could go in without them. Nevertheless, we're about to see the Baku City Circuit put on a show, which is typically rare, but it's going to be a sprint to a finish. seems like the way things will go. Welcome back. Welcome if you are just now tuning in for the closing laps of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for the Formula Virtual Racing Academy. So we are set to go back racing surely by the end of this lap. Field of, well, that started with 14, now narrowing itself down to 6 drivers, all on fresh softs. It's going to be interesting to see. Race control says safety car in this lap. And this is Batty, who got to the lead in a unforeseen way with a bit of contact from Lewis McWilliam and Jackson Turner, letting him get around on the inside in a very narrow and tight 90-degree corner, which this track seems to be full of. Let's see Vestago Batty, though, having to fend off 5 more cars if he wants to win and walk away with the points lead here in Baku. As you see, the entire field weaving to warm up the tires. Jackson Turner not going to do that. He is waiting for that jump that Vestago Batty plans to get. Same with the Haas driver, Rick Debris, Williams driver, B. McCook. Everyone's starting to single filing, and now you see Lewis McWilliam spins the tires a little bit, and Vestago Batty goes back racing. A huge gap formed from 2nd to 3rd, but McWilliam to 3rd in a timely manner, and a bit of contact behind. That is Rick Debris and Habib McCook. Oh no, that's not Habib McCook, that is Scott Sandover as they go around in turn 1 off the restart. Not what you want to see if you're either of those drivers having a chance at a podium, let alone a win. But now Vestago Batty with almost a 2nd lead on Jackson Turner. Oh, now over that. Lewis McWilliam trying to close that time on Jackson Turner. And these two could have a little bit of bad blood from earlier. Vestago Batty just trying to book it, because that's all you can do at this point. Just try to get away from everyone before that DRS is turned on when we go to lap 24. So obviously this is where you try to take advantage of what is there, but Lewis McWilliam closing in to a 2nd on Jackson Turner now within a 2nd. So he's got to make a move now. If he wants a shot at Vestago Batty, we could see a reversed top 2 from last week's Spanish Grand Prix. And Vestago Batty sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:41.642. Obviously on a soft compound. Let's see, Jackson Turner just 2 seconds back almost, now over that amount. Just losing so much time on Batty. Well, now he's closing 2/10. Not sure what happened. Maybe he's using up his ERS more than Mercedes driver. William not too far behind, so he's going to have to make a move soon if he wants a chance and thinks he's got the pace over Turner. Maybe he'll sit behind, let everything unfold. Habib McCook's starting to fall out of that top 3 pack, so I think it's safe to say, unless a spin or incident happens, this podium is set to be what it looks like right now. May as well just say that about the results as well. You never know. This time by when a leader crosses the line, DRS will be activated for the remainder of the laps here, and I don't think there will be another safety car once they cross the line. I think it can fully function coming out. See, obviously the gap staying almost dead even at 2 seconds from the race leader. You see right in frame as you see Jackson Turner come out of the corner. You see Vestago Batty barely going out of frame, so 2 second gap going to mean so much, but you will need a DRS with you in 1 second, so obviously someone's got to be using that. Everything can have DRS enabled. And Lewis McWilliam's going to get the DRS on Jackson Turner this go around through turn 1. So is this where he starts using up everything he has? Let's see. DRS activated. Yep, you see that flashing red light on the back of the McLaren. That is either at 10% DRS or below that. So yeah, the red light's still flashing on the back of the McLaren. He's used up all the ERS he can to try and get what he has. There's a bit of discussion in the chat. As I can see, it seems like people are trying to say that the McLaren driver, Lewis McWilliam, did pass before the restart, or before the line on the restart, which could result in a penalty. So that, obviously, going into review, you probably won't know that on the broadcast, but a little sideways, and Lewis McWilliam around, no front wing. It's not going to matter if there's a penalty now. And I think that is it, because obviously no safety car is going to save him now. And with no front wing, unless he can try staying out with no front wing, I think he's going to dive in, change it, get that taken care of. But 4/10 closed on the race leader from Jackson Turner. But wow, last week's race winner not going to be able to get the second win of the season for himself, as that is painful to watch. Still, 2 drivers that can fight for this win, unless Beamer Cook being able to avoid all that, avoid the damage, not get any puncture. He'll be sitting 3rd on, in the last spot on the podium. As you see, yeah, Lewis McWilliam staying out, trying to make that no front wing work, but he's going to have to fight Rick Debris for it. And yep, there's the pass for Rick Debris, so obviously just trying to stick out as much as possible. And Vesticobati's losing a little bit more time. Not sure if Turner's using up more of his stuff or if Vesta's saving more than he is. But now the gap's down to 1.2, and there's a car around. That is Lewis McWilliam. I believe he got into the runoff, or maybe even more, but so no more damage you can do to that front wing. So at this point, it's just body damage. Oh, and Vesticobati a little sideways through the corner. That's going to allow for Jackson Turner to get within a second. Now 8/10. We may have a fight on our hands for the final lap here in Azerbaijan. Oh, Turner's got to ace these next few corners. Can he do it? 9/10 back. He's got to stay within a second if he wants to DRS down the main straight. He's got to use up that ERS. Now, if he really wants to get there, here we go. Barely just outside of the 1 second. Just a little more time till the detection zone. And he's within it. I believe he was within it at the time. We're about to find out. Oh no, he may have narrowly missed out on it. Let's see. Does the Ferrari driver get DRS? He does not. Oh no, and then the gap is back to 1.3. So unless things change down this next straight, which I don't think it will, Vesticobati's still out of the DRS, so it's now going to be just down to driver error determining what's the outcome of this race. But Vesticobati just trying to pull that gap as much as possible back to 1.5 and going even faster. So this is probably the push lap of the century. This is what you're saving up for. This is probably why the gap was closed. But that is obviously undetermined. Find out. Will Vesticobati go top of the board with the fastest lap? And if everything goes right through the rest of Sector 2, and there you see Jackson Turner getting into the wall. I'm not sure if that's damage, but did lose him quite a few tenths, taking it easy through the same corner that he narrowly spun in last lap, and yeah, the gap to 2.5. I believe that little contact with the wall was enough to damage Ferrari. Might be overheating the tires, just trying to push too hard. Nevertheless, coming so close to the win in Spain and sitting 3rd in points going into this week's race. But yes, narrowly missing out on the win last week to Lewis McWilliam, closing that gap on the final lap to make it interesting. the Mercedes driver of Vestigobati. He's going to swing it down the pit straight and win here in Azerbaijan for round 3 of the FVRA competition. Jackson Turner finishing second. And the Williams driver, Captain Habib McCook, brings home the podium finish, 3rd place, bottom step of the podium. Still something. Rick Debris finishing 4th. Lewis McWilliam hauling it down the pit straight with no front wing. Kudos to him for managing that and bringing it home 5th, with Scott Sandover finishing in 6th. Those are our remaining drivers in the race, as the cheers from the crowd seeing the Williams driver get the podium, and driver of the day for the Williams driver, Habib McCook. That is what you want to see right there. People are happy about that. Nevertheless, the Mercedes driver being able to come out on top this week. And let the podium celebration begin with a little bit of bubbly. The champagne for the podium drivers. And that was surely a race that some people would want to forget, but some people want to remember. Going fastest to Vestigobati with a 141.642 and winning the race. Also coming out of this race with the points lead, finishing second, reserve driver Jackson Turner. After starting on pole, a surprise pole nonetheless. He'll come home P2. Then driver of the day with 6 stops, starting 7th and finishing on the bottom step of the podium. That would be Habib McCook getting 3rd, Rick Debris 4th, Lewis McWilliam 5th, and Scott Sandover 6th, being the last of the remaining, or the finishing cars, that is. Seb Mills getting 7th, Liam Heisman in 8th. Wow. Then you see Niall Cairn finishing 9th, and so forth. But nevertheless, thank you everyone for joining me for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I'll see you next week. So, take care everybody.